All right, guys, this is Miss Sims. This is the completely optional. There will not be any notes like blanks or anything that you have to fill in. Just if you're interested in the counterculture movement, this is like the 1970s, hippies, free love. I think it's super interesting. It's crazy. Anyways, we're just going to kind of talk about it. Remember, layers of history happening at the same time as Vietnam in a lot of ways. This is more what's going on at home rather than abroad. Okay. So, this starts mid to late 1960s. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to leave school, they're going to leave work, leave home to form kind of this perfect community that it has love, peace, harmony, basically what we would call the hippie era. This is where rock and roll music starts, crazy clothes, different ideas about sexuality and when it's appropriate to have sex, lots of illegal drugs. It's called the Age of Aquarius, which we're not going to get into, but that's just what it's called. Here's a quote down here. When the moon is in its seventh house and the Jupiter aligns with Mars, and then peace shall guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawn of the Age of Aquarius. People were drinking a lot, doing a lot of drugs. So a lot of this stuff is going to be real weird. Okay. This is part of some video footage from one of these concerts. And basically what this is just a critique on the way society has been for a while. There's been a lot of racism, a lot of war, and people are not interested in that anymore. One of the important people from this time period, his name is Timothy Leary, and his like catchphrase was turn on, tune in, and drop out. So he became kind of this leader of the counterculture movement. It's going to grow out of another movement. It was a literary movement in the 1950s that was called the Beat Movement. We didn't have a chance to get into that. So, anyways, there's also going to be another kind of leader group that's called Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters, and basically they are going to drive around in this crazy van all around doing acid tests and just touring around, basically just like this giant party following this guy. Okay. And basically people are looking for this utopia, a society without rules, without violence. And anyways, that's kind of where they're at. Okay, there's a lot of slang that comes from this time period that we still use today. So the term freaking out, somebody being strung out, high, spacey, the word freak, all of those come from this time period. Also, things that you've probably heard like flower power, peace, love, not war, hippie, lots and lots and lots of stuff. Total bummer. All of this kind of comes from this time period. Even calling sex, making love, that comes from this time period. All of that. So lots and lots of terms that we still use today. Some we like recognize as from the 70s, but some we use like we just use normal stuff. Okay. Summer of Love. So this was 1967. This is part of this flower power movement. Basically, we already said they're focusing on trying to build this new society, being an individual and not like following the rules, refusing all the traditional standards of going to college, getting married, having kids. This idea of individualism and doing what you want, partying, drugs, having sex with who you want with no consequences. This kind of starts in San Francisco. It's called the Hyatt Asbury Street community. And that community was completely overwhelmed because so many people were trying to move in there or come there. Anyways, this is kind of that hippie movement. Okay, there's going to be several communes that are going to start. So one of those was Wavy Gravy and the Pig Commune. So this was popular among hippies after the Summer of Love. So the Summer of Love was like this touring across the summer and like just kind of living together. And then after it was over, people were like, why don't we just do this all the time? Why don't we just like live together with our own rules, connecting to nature and doing our own religion type thing, sharing everything. And so this was in New Mexico. So, anyways, music is going to be a huge part of this. So, the Grateful Dead, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Bob Dylan, James Taylor, the Stones, all of these people are like part of these huge music festivals. So, Woodstock, which was a very peaceful festival, and then the Altamont Speedway, which was not, there was murder there. So, anyways, you're just going to see all of this different stuff that's kind of going on. Okay, counterculture starts to fall apart in the 70s. So in the beginning, it was all about fun, but then I don't know if you guys hopefully have not, but if you've ever seen a bunch of people that are drunk or on drugs, they do stupid stuff, and sometimes they get violent. And so because of that, the drugs and the crime, it's going to have a really negative impact. And the people in San Francisco are going to get tired of it and they're going to get fed up with it. We're also going to see, you're going to have these weird communes that turn into like Charles Manson, where he gets these people and calls them his family, and kind of brainwashes them into killing people. So the peace and love part kind of falls apart. Okay, lasting impact. Overall, America opens up its views about how people should dress, what is acceptable, some more individuality, and some Americans are going to find it like liberating, as far as what they can do. Some people say that the country is going to hell in a handbasket, the moral decay of the country. But some of the things that are going to like kind of last out of this is this idea of like nature and protecting the environment. That like conservation movement, Earth Day, that comes out of this time period. Vegetarianism, Ben and Jerry's ice cream, tofu, communes, tie dye, lava lamps. So those are all things that kind of do come out of this movement and are still around today. Okay, also kind of coming out of that movement, you're going to jump straight into the women's rights movement, Latinos rights movement, environmental movement. We are not going to get a chance to talk about those because we just keep going on. But anyways, it's kind of the extra part. Again, sorry we ran out of time covering all this stuff. We really lost a lot of time just because you guys were only able to do 30 minutes a day rather than us doing an hour. So that really, we kind of lost like almost 5 weeks with that. So if we had 5 more weeks, we would have gotten further. But anyways, hope that was interesting. Yeah, I'll stop it here. Again, this was completely optional. You don't have to do anything for this. This was just if you were interested in it. And as you guys know, my computer's super slow.